All right, you know what the lists are designed to do. I wasn't going to fall for it, but I think the Kennedy Carter reaction to ESPN's latest list is interesting. I could have titled this around Caitlin Clark, whose placement is ridiculous. We'll get to that in a second. It would get more views and everything, but I feel like the Kennedy Carter aspect has more meat to it and is an actual story because it's not just people online yelling. Chennedy Carter herself went online to react to the list. This is ESPN's list as written down by trendy hoop stars here. Asia Wilson, Brianna Stewart, Nafisa Collier, Alyssa Thomas, Jonquel Jones, Jackie Young, Sabrina Ionescu, Nneka Ogwumike, Dearica Hamby, Kalia Copper, Kelsey Plum, McBeggar, Gumbawale, Jewel Lloyd, Caitlin Clark, Brittany Griner, Aaliyah Boston, DeWanna Bonner, Angel Reese, Kayla McBride, Brianna Jones, Ryan Howard, Alicia Gray, Kennedy Carter, Kelsey Mitchell. That's the list, okay? So Kennedy Carter comes in at 24th on the list. And she hopped on an Instagram story to say this, how I average less minutes and my stats top in the league, but I am at the bottom. This isn't adding up. The hate be so obvious. The hate be so obvious. She said something similar on Twitter or X, responding to somebody else's comment where she said, what did she say here? When you're undeniably good, there's nothing they can do at this point. Just keep watching. They tried to keep me out, spit on my name. We prevail. Now, here's the thing. Kennedy Carter has a case, right? Like, she has a case. I could argue she's been the Chicago Sky's best player. Like, should Angel Reese be ahead of Kennedy Carter? It's an argument. Like, you could make the argument that Reese's defensive value, rebounding value, overall, like, plus minus stuff like that, could put her above Carter. But if you're telling me, if I were on the opposing sideline, which player is instilling more fear in me before a matchup, it would be Kennedy Carter. It would be Kennedy Carter, who's the leading scorer on the Sky and one of the better one-on-one players in the league. She's definitely got game. So you could argue she should be much higher. The issue is, I think it's stuff like this where she probably didn't need to do all that. She probably didn't need to do all that because Kennedy bounced around the league and then eventually out of the league for off-court issues. Not that this is a big deal. Of course it's not. But, if she continued to let her play do the talking here, it'd be almost impossible to keep her down any lists. And again, you look at the list, there plenty of her peers could take issue with it, right? Like, Caitlin Clark at 15 is ridiculous. It's ridiculous. She's top 3 in MVP voting. She's going to break the all-time assist. I repeated all these things a billion times. So, like, Caitlin Clark fans could get all into a frenzy and be upset about it, but we know the game by now. And despite the fact that the list is supposed to be based on mid-season, it really feels legacy-based. Like, Sabrina Ionescu was 7th on the list. She's having a better season than 7 right now. Obviously, Clark is having a far better season than 15. I was going to do my own list, but I ran out of time before the season starts, and now it would feel like I was stealing. But I would have Clark in the top 5 at worst. And Kennedy Carter, I would have higher when you're just telling me players I could choose up from, right? Like, on pure ability. But that hasn't always been the issue with Kennedy. And again, I'm not, going to blow this out of proportion. This is really more or less nothing. It's not a big deal, but it could be a little indicative of why, given that Kennedy is the only one making noise. I saw rumors that she liked a post that was critical of Reese. I'm not going to, I don't know if that's true or not. Likes are hidden now. Could be an accident. People scroll by and accidentally click something. But, I think the more Kennedy, not to say, she can't express her opinion. She can always express her opinion. But the more she has her focus on, the better the results have been. And we've seen that for her thus far this season with the Chicago Sky. And I hope that's the case. I hope it continues because I really, really like watching Chennedy Carter play, and I do really appreciate her game.